So excited to be here, guys.
Oh, this is Liquid Gold. Why don't you go for it, Mike?
All right, where the coops are chilled the minute we're placed on hold. Welcome to Liquid Gold. I'm Mike Wolf, and this is my co-host, Mr. Kenneth Dedmon.
Hello, Mike.
How are you today?
I'm really good. It's
Good.
great to be here.
You look well today. Did you get a bunch of sleep?
No, I've been
Not enough.
I've been under the weather all of 2019.
It's been going around.
If it wasn't the flu, it was I had a sinus infection because of allergies. Most recently, I had an ear infection.
Wow.
What are
Holy
you,
moly,
3?
man. I know.
Are you 3 years old?
I'm reborn.
Reborn, yeah. Oh, man. You can find us. This is a podcast about all things beverage coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee. You can find us on Instagram at liquidgold_pod. That is at liquidgold_pod. We can see the sun shining. We get an extra hour now of springtime goodness. And we have a very special guest today. We're going to talk so many things, all the things, with a bartender, a pro's pro bartender, someone who has a really cool perspective on the kind of the drinking scene here in Nashville, because she's busy a lot. We have with us Miss Sally Gatza from LA Jackson.
Very well done on the name. You nailed it.
It's good to have you here.
Great to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
I do want to mention, because we did it ourselves. We done ourselves in when we said, hey, collaborate with us. Send us some queries. Send us a question. But it was really cool. Jeff Lancaster, a listener out in East Nashville, was stumped in trying to come up with a cocktail for his wife's birthday. So he hit us up about some amaretto drinks, that's a tough one.
What's his wife's name?
So-
Amber?
I probably shouldn't say. I don't think he told me. But he hit us up. He needed some amaretto cocktails, so we threw together like an amaretto Mai Tai. That was pretty cool. We sent him a recipe for that, and he loved it. Also, a little amaretto twist on a Manhattan. So if you have questions, if you need some ideas, drinks to make at home, drinks to make at the job, on the job, we're here for you at liquidgold_pod. So thanks everybody for listening and for sending us your comments, questions, all that stuff. We really appreciate it. And share it with a friend, as we say. You can get the podcast wherever you do download your podcasts. You can get it. We have a link on our Instagram page, and you can always text out an episode of a podcast to a friend. So if you like what we do here today in our interview with Sally, send that around, because you're probably going to see Sally this spring and summer as she is holding down the bar at LA Jackson and crushing so many beautiful drinks. So we're excited to get into that. Some things we're not going to talk about today: Skittles vodka.
Gosh, thank you. I'm so happy
Did you make
to be
that
part
up?
of this.
What?
I'm out of the loop.
I'm not going to try it. It's a thing.
It's
I can do that at home.
Yeah.
It's on about 3 menus locally right now.
Wow.
Last night I had a Fruit Loop cocktail.
Dang.
We're running out of
Did it-
things, y'all.
Did it chop up the roof
Yeah.
of your mouth?
There were only 3 tiny ones, and they were soggy.
It is. Yeah, it's funny. We're running out of shit to do.
We're just trying.
The cocktail resurgence.
I'd do something with like Fruit Loop, like milk.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, cereal milk. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cereal milk's a beautiful thing. Shout out Milk Bar. Shout out Andy Wedge.
Maloko.
Yeah. Shout out Andy Wedge, our wine consultant, one of our wine consultants on retainer here at Liquid Gold.
You guys
Some other things
running
were
a big production.
Oh
here.
yeah, it's a big you can't tell right now, but it's a big
There's
organization.
a lot of ins and outs.
Speaking of ins and outs and big organizations, former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz's political aspirations also on the list of things we're not going to talk about today.
Fantastic.
He ruined the Seattle Supersonics, and now he wants to be president. And I don't see those two things working out together. One more thing we're not going to get into today, just because we probably don't have time, but he's a recurring character here on Liquid Gold because I'm a great admirer. But Dennis Rodman texting 2 nuclear weapons clutching world leaders in the span of 1 week. So how do we... It's a long topic. He's got the cell phone numbers and he can text 2 nuclear weapons.
I feel like Frank Sinatra could have done that too.
Yeah.
definitely
Is
one.
Rodman the new Sinatra?
And that was a call too, so it was more important than a text.
Yeah. Some things we are going to talk about: Japanese whiskey. We're all fans. We have talked about it on the show about the possible coming shortage of Japanese whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kenneth did a little feature on Booze News recently about that, and it was kind of scary that it happens. Sometimes it happens so fast when a product or a spirit gets popular, and then that compounds on itself, and there's just not enough to go around. You see it sometimes on a really small level with a product here in town. Everybody jumps on a particular kind of rum or tequila or whatever, and next thing you know, it's gone. But this is happening on a huge scale. But what we're drinking right now, we're drinking the Nikka Coffee Grain Whiskey, and we're drinking the Japanese highball, which we're going to give you our recipe. All we did was basically, we're professionals, and we have a lot of time to sit here, so we don't have a bartender on staff for the show, which we do need that. Maybe we can get an intern.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody from Belmont we could get to we'll give them recipes, pass it through the door. Be like 8 minutes.
Yeah. You get us coffee.
Yeah. But so what we did is we did 2 to 2.5 ounces of whiskey here, and then some big blocks of ice, and topped it off with with soda water. And that's all it is. But that's really how a lot of these whiskeys are drank in Japan. And it's become more of a thing here in the States where, almost similar to the gin and tonic, people will take this template and add a few botanicals to infuse as you booze or to sort of accentuate the whiskey. But I'm digging it. And it's a great way to open up the whiskey. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
it's delicious. Actually, really enjoy getting into waters, specific waters that I'm mixing with whiskeys. And
we've got the Topo Chico here.
We are using Topo Chico,
which has those great bubbles,
tight bubbles,
the tight bubbles, almost aggressive bubbles.
Well, like swirly.
Yeah, and the salinity of it is really nice. So it makes it great for like tequila cocktails or anything that where you might be using some sweet ingredients. It kind of gives you that little bit of salinity. Do you guys run through Topo Chico up there on the rooftop?
We don't use it. If we used it, we would.
Yeah, you'd be in trouble.
They would be out of Topo Chico.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking to that, like one spirit or one product that I'm sure you guys just fly through stuff. Have you ever had that where you're using something, probably weekly actually, and next thing you know, it's just like gone from the market, gone from existence?
So we do a lot of companies will close down and we'll just buy out all their product. It happened with Ariza Gin. We bought out all of Ariza Gin.
That's smart.
Yeah, so we can usually get a pretty good deal on things like that.
That's cool.
We do that a lot.
Yeah, that's smart.
I mean, we know we're just gonna fly right through it.
Yeah.
I think it's constantly the beast is keeping the line between high volume and I think integrity still.
Well, I think that's something that we want to get into today too, because that's something you guys do really well.
Thank you.
That's kind of that's your thing. It's like we don't have to be just making highballs or just pouring things out of a machine to do high volume. You're doing cocktails and you're doing high level stuff, and you have smart, intelligent people there making drinks, thinking about drinks.
How long has LA Jackson been open?
About 2 years.
Okay, 2 years.
Almost 3 years, yeah.
Dang. Is that a blur?
It's a blur. It might be 3 years, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, flies by.
It's been great.
Yeah.
I mean, that place, it's a beast.
Yeah, the Gulch period must be a beast.
Oh, I live in the Gulch. I work in the Gulch.
Yeah.
I don't
You're
hang
not
out
driving
in
to park in the Gulch.
Yeah, exactly. I walk
to work.
Right.
That's great.
But you're a Japanese whiskey fan. Do you guys serve it up there on the rooftop?
Yeah, we actually have a cocktail currently using the Toki from Suntory. It's called the Kanpai, which means cheers in Japanese.
Oh, cool.
I wanted to call it the Mariana Trench. I'm fascinated with the Mariana Trench, but it got vetoed out. But it's tamarind, a little honey, some fresh ginger syrup, the Japanese whiskey, lemon, ango. Super simple.
Cool.
Probably the most simple cocktail that we run. But it crushes.
Nice. The tamarind and ginger. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good combo.
I could see that working really well.
We infuse the Toki with Earl Grey as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So it's soft and really
soft,
balanced.
but got a lot of layers to it.
A lot of layers. Love that drink.
That's very cool.
Demi and myself.
Nice. Collab.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Strong brain power over there.
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth, you can speak
Mike?
a little bit to kind of how Japanese whiskey got started and how sort of
Like,
there was really one gentleman who
One
dove
fan.
into it. Yeah.
like, kind of the history of whiskey in Japan is not. I don't think it's much different. I mean, it's different than like the spread of bourbon in the United States, but it also has a lot of similarities. Like the first whiskey in Japan was actually in like the 1850s when this naval officer named Matthew Perry, otherwise known as Chandler.
Floating through time. We knew he was
Commodore
special.
Matthew Perry. He was commissioned to basically force the opening of trade with Japan. At the time, Japan only had one port for over like 300 years or so. They were just like completely shut out from the world. Pretty amazing. And like one of the things I respect out of Japanese culture is that time of seclusion, because last week I spent like 2 days just watching Netflix nonstop. I didn't answer my phone or even look at it. It was like, I understand. Anyway, yeah, this guy Matthew Perry basically forced Western trade upon the Japanese, which we were already doing it with like China and the rest of like what would become like called Indochina. But he had gifted the emperor a 100-gallon barrel, presumably Scotch whiskey. And then fast forward to 1918 when this guy, Masataka Takasura, yeah, basically went door to door in Speyside trying to get an internship with Scottish distilleries. He would go on to work in the original Yamazaki distillery and then open up the distillery that we're drinking right now.
Yeah.
Nika. Coffee grain being like Estes coffee, the Irish distillers' invention of like basically the doubler still.
Yeah.
Which is just like basically steam stripping a mash.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful.
Say it
Yeah, and
five
there's
times fast.
Yeah, right. And there's something about that sort of Japanese way that if they're into something and they want to explore something, they're going to go all
They
the
go
way.
all
Excel.
the way. Sean Brock once came in and we spoke for hours back in the day. And he was like, I'll only eat sushi in Japan. You go there once and you watch the precision.
He loves
the
Japan.
focus. And I mean, I think that they apply that to everything that they get into.
And it's cool being folks like us that are into drinks and into food. That's really ingrained into their culture. They're very passionate if it's food or if it's drink. They're passionate about it, and they've been that way for hundreds.
Yeah, like ceremonial
hundreds of
about
years.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's restaurants up there that are 700 years old. Where
That's
they've
killer.
been. Yeah, it's amazing.
I think one of the most exciting things about it is that they haven't really hit, the table whiskey yet. They're not putting out anything that's crap. It's all really, really good.
Yeah.
And it's an exciting time for sure, because they're not trying to capitalize on Americans yet.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And that has led to them nearly coming close to running out.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
like the Japanese
They're like,
whiskey.
oh, why didn't we make a early times?
Not, I mean, yeah, they're not going to do that. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, like the bubble burst pretty quick, and I, for one, I'm really glad that we're drinking this product right now, because I either see like the price shooting up or just not seeing it at all
Yeah,
in the next year or two.
There's something very pure about what's in that bottle and what you're tasting. And it's different from, like, we were tasting and talking about bourbon a few weeks back. And it's just it's much more of a sort of Zen-like experience. Drinking and tasting like Japanese whiskey, where bourbon is sort of pop you in the face. And there's a lot of those similar tasting profiles that go across different labels. Japanese whiskey, it's sort of you sort of have to really think about it and sort of let it kind of float around your mouth a little bit before you really can tell what's going on.
Yeah.
It's
I
more
agree.
of an elegant product.
It is. I think that probably has to do with like the indigenous oak that they use for their barrels. They're not like buying, for the most part, not buying Jack Daniel's barrels.
Yeah.
They're making they're making their barrels out of indigenous oak for the most part.
Yeah, which speaks to what we were saying earlier, that sort of craftsmanship. But it's not even craftsmanship. It sort of takes it a different level where we're going to sort of figure out the best way to do things, take them back, and then take our culture and do it our way. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's great.
Definitely.
It is elegant.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
the
a very
perfect
good
word.
word. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Delicate.
So one thing, Sally, that I want to get into, like where you kind of got started bartending, because one thing I remember the first few times you coming into Husk was you were pretty young. Because I remember I did have to card you.
Yeah, I think
But
I was
you-
21.
Yeah, you knew your stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of rare. I remember that one other time. I don't always remember people, but I'll remember drinks. I'll remember certain situations. There was another gentleman who came in one time and was having like his first legal old fashioned.
That's exciting.
He knew all these different rye whiskeys, and
love
I was
that.
like, I can't believe that. You're 21.
Yeah, I experienced that the other day, and I just gave it to him.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's awesome. That's on me.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
That's great.
So, where are you from first?
So I'm from Florida.
Yeah.
I moved here when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
Where in Florida?
Tampa,
Tampa.
Florida. Yeah.
Cool.
That's
Shout
great.
out
I love
Baxter.
Tampa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brian Baxter.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, big hardcore scene in Tampa.
Hell yeah, there is.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
What is the Masquerade? The bar in Ybor City.
I don't know the masquerade.
What is the hardcore
There are
club
so
right there?
many right now, so I don't know. But yeah, that was my high school experience.
That's
I think
great.
it's called Knuckles.
Yeah, I've seen all kinds of hardcore bands in Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like Hispanic music is like unavoidable. Hardcore music is very unavoidable in Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Scientology in certain parts as well.
Indeed it is. I have some friends. So, but yeah, so I moved here, and I moved here for music, and I grew up in food and drink was really close to me, and my family was very into it. So I grew up with sort of a sense and an interest. So I decided I wanted to be a bartender, which I found out was a little bit of a different experience than I thought. But I really admired Strategic Hospitality at the time. I think they had sort of a monopoly on the city.
Yeah.
And they were opening a new concept, LaSalle.
Yeah.
And I walked in, I printed out this ridiculous resume because I had no experience in any field whatsoever. And it had a picture on it, and the fonts were ridiculous. And I walked in and asked for a job, and little did I know I was talking to their beverage director for the entire company, Matt Tocco, and he
cool.
just sat me down and interviewed me right there. And it was great. They offered me a position. I wanted to be a bar back to learn, and they just sent me an email and
Yeah.
decided to make me a bartender.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Toko.
Shout out,
Yeah.
man. I saw him at Rolf and Daughters
Fucking love that dude.
about
Yeah.
2 years later and just bought his meal.
Nice.
I think
That's cool.
I didn't really know what I was getting into at the time, and I was 19. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was quite a shot on their end, but
Yeah.
I'm really appreciative, thankful.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how was it different for you? Like where you're like, it was very different than I thought it was going to be.
But
now you're running your own program. Yeah.
I mean, it's there's so many layers. There's so much to it. I didn't think it was as beautiful, I guess, as it is. There's so much to learn, and it just kind of changes your life.
Yeah. We've got a cat in the background. Are you sitting on the cat?
No. Be in my lap.
that is one of the more beautiful aspects of this business is there's always more to unpack on a particular ingredient, like we're talking about Japanese
Loops.
whiskey, but even you could open that up with Fruit Loops. You had a
Right,
cocktail with
yeah.
Fruit Loops. There's always more to learn, and it's like the more that you do learn, the more you realize you didn't know.
And I think, yes.
Yeah.
I think whether or not it's your career for life, I think you take away something that just makes one aspect of life, drinking, so much more in-depth and beautiful, and you're able to enjoy that at such a higher level for the rest of your life. So I think that's a really, really cool thing.
Yeah, because we're all going to be going out and eating and drinking no matter what.
You might as well do it to the highest possible level.
Yeah, you might as well know how to do it.
Right,
yeah, and appreciate it. Appreciate those moments, because it's like the more you're in the business, the more you can really appreciate just being able to go out for a meal and sit down and have somebody taking care of you and having an experience with somebody who's passionate. And that's something I think you can speak about with LA Jackson, is when you go up there, as crazy as it is, you're going to get people that work there who are passionate about what they do.
We're trying, baby.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Yeah. So tell us what it's like. So you're working at one of the most popular bars in the city, a bar that does some of the biggest volume in the city. You're also doing cocktails, and you're changing things out seasonally. It must be tough to sort of balance it all out.
It's I think you ride the hard line of integrity, and sometimes we'll do 50,000 a night. So you have to bring in product that that you can support, we get so many people, so many reps in that want to work with us, and it's some of the pricing we can get is unbelievable, as you can imagine.
Yeah, because they know it's just going to disappear. And they're going to have to send pallets upon pallets to Nashville.
Right.
We're
on the menu at LA Jackson. Send a pallet.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun too, because you have so many resources and so many things to play with. But yeah, it is. I think what we've done really well is ride that line between integrity and not just totally selling out, but being able to do the high volume thing.
Yeah. The more drinks I mean, it's a seesaw.
Yeah, I think the one weekend last year in the summer, we took away the bar stools, and 2, we put 3 of our most popular cocktails on draft, and we did 10 grand more in one night just from doing those 2 things.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I think those little moves that you make at that place make a huge, huge difference.
Yeah. That's interesting. You talk to people sometimes, should we take away the bar stools? Should we take away stools here? You saw it at Urban Cowboy, Public House. They sort of did some of that to create a little bit more of a line situation. Right. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. The more that I work there and I see really the back end of things, you learn that just a tiny thing can have such an impact on, I guess, sales.
Yeah. It's like a barbershop, putting a sign outside or not putting one outside.
Exactly.
Or changing their hours to this or changing their hours to that. And a lot of business owners would say that's the difference between 20%. That could be 30%. Are we boring you?
No. It's like, I was thinking about getting a shave, dude. Like, $5 shave. Shaving a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I know. Oh, sounds good.
Yeah.
Shaving a cup of coffee and some coffee green whiskey.
Booyah.
You bring up an interesting point in terms of like these little tweaks you can make here and there. And one question I have for you is, I've talked to different bar managers around town, or anyone that's asked me that's like creating a menu. And one thing that I always say is like, don't worry if you have a drink that you love that's just so weird that it doesn't sell well, because it kind of can fill out the rest of that menu. It can be like
that.
Yeah. So do you guys have some of those that and that's got to be sort of a comfort that you're like, I can put something on that I'm into. I'm not going to be flying through it like I am all this other stuff, which as a manager of that place and a head bartender, some of that stuff has to stress you out, because you're like, we just went through 45 bottles of gin. Right. And I don't know how much more we have.
Yeah.
But so what are some cool cocktails that you've done up there that you're not selling as much, but you feel great about, that it kind of rounds out the menu?
So that's a really great question, because that bar, I want it to be, if someone who really knows their shit comes in and, you're doing vodka soda, Green Point. And this happens constantly. So we have to have such an interesting staff that can just rock it out, but also doesn't need to look anything up, and just really is totally rounded. But yeah, we like to keep 1 or 2 sort of wild cards on the menu. There's one, the Ango Unchained, that we've had on the menu since, I think, for 2 years now. We'll never take it off. It's the only cocktail that doesn't change.
Yeah.
That's Coolest name.
Drohan has told me.
Can
about
you guess what's in it? It's an Angostura based cocktail.
Yeah, like 2 ounces of Ango and egg white and
no. But maybe we'll do an iteration. It's Ango, plantation overproof rum, orgeat, lime, pineapple, demerara, tiki bitters. It's a banger.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
That one will probably never come off because our bar, we just shoot Ango. Yep. It's our thing, and we don't want to get rid of the cheater. So for multiple reasons, that cocktail will never come off.
That's great.
Yeah.
You must be flying through Ango.
Whew, baby.
Like, yeah.
I don't
How much
actually
Ango
know if
you're talking about Ango bitters or Ango Amaro?
No, the bitters.
Oh,
I don't know if they actually know how expensive it is when it really comes
It's
down
pricey
to
if
it.
you're doing like an ounce pour of those. Like,
It's not that pricey.
Yeah, no.
I love that stuff. You remember we used to get
Very
it
affordable when you're doing volume.
We used to get it at the Walmart over on Gallatin Road. It was
which we
the
can
doubles
admit now.
for $5. Dude, yeah.
We can admit now because it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great price on Ango. I don't know how. Yeah.
I have an admission about that. Like,
Allegedly, we did that.
I was skating with some
Allegedly.
So allegedly,
Yeah,
some have said that I was, and I can't. I got to plead the fifth.
You don't remember, yeah.
There's some skater kids that like trying to get me to buy some beer one time at that store, and I'm like, why don't you just get the Ango and some Coca-Cola? They're like, what are you talking about?
Nice.
It's like, they don't card for bitters here for some reason, so just freaking scram.
Scram and go buy some Ango.
You went down in those kids' lives as the most legendary dude they've ever met.
You know, they were like 19, so like they were, like they weren't like little kids.
Yeah.
I skated with them all the time. I just wasn't gonna buy them beer, especially the way they approached me, like in the middle of Kroger. I'm like, I'm not buying you beer, but just go over there and get those.
That's amazing.
And now they're probably all like bartenders.
Yeah, right.
Like,
that started it.
Yeah, it's a food product.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah,
because it
so
is
delicious.
and it really is a great food product because it's great in salad dressings. You can use it in a steak reduction. You can
The family table at the
there's
front.
a lot you can do with it.
The family table at the front of Lachlan Springs over on Woodland is stained with Angostura. Fun fact.
It does make for great staining. Yeah, I've seen bars that are stained in Angostura. It's pretty amazing. It'll definitely stain your clothes.
They might have to rebrand.
Yeah.
To allow for all of these uses.
You guys change your menu seasonally. Mm-hmm. Is it about getting into frozen drink season? Have you you're kind of there?
Always frozen drink season.
Okay, yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about that because I think last year was the year of the frosé. Just everywhere.
I knew it was coming. The frosé.
Everyone got a frozen machine to keep up with the frosé demand.
Yeah.
Like the tiniest place, it would be frosé. I was like, whoa, man. This is
you're at the
crazy.
gas station.
They're like, offering frosé.
You want frozen pizza or frosé? What do you want?
Both.
Both.
But I'm hoping it's starting to die down.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what these places are going to fill it with next. We have a giant machine, the biggest frozen machine you've ever seen.
Is it a Frosty factory?
There's people in it actually that make the frosé, and that's where we do our frosé. And we have a tiny one that couldn't keep up, so we get to fill that with more adventurous
Fun stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
a lot of fun stuff.
What have you been putting in that one?
We started with a Pimm's cup.
Killer!
People
yeah.
hated it, so it was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I think it got sent back almost 90% of the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But you live and you learn.
Yeah.
Pimm's Cup's awkward. Like it's a call cocktail, and you gotta know where your Pimm's is at behind the bar because someone's gonna come up out of nowhere, out of season, and be like, "Do a Pimm's Cup." Like fucking.
Yeah. You're like, what? It's fucking January. What are you doing?
Oh man.
I didn't know Wimbledon was on.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
But
spotted tea with the queen.
Yeah. Right. It's interesting because I dove into Pimm's Cup.
Oh yeah.
I dove into Pimm's Cup
What's
in
your
the book.
spec?
I love them. Don't get me wrong.
Mike Wolf?
Whew. Pimm's Cup. Well, so I think what's fascinating about the Pimm's Cup is you can do it. There's two different Pimm's Cups. There's there's Pimm's and tall glass of sparkling lemonade, and that's it. And that's kind of the British way. Now, of course, that went over to New Orleans. In New Orleans, they really started making them in the late 30s, and so it started to be thought of as a New Orleans cocktail.
We
and
just
they got
did a Mardi Gras flip 2 weeks ago for 4 days, and we had it on there. So yeah.
What were you doing for that?
We completely flipped our bar menu to all.
Oh,
New
okay. You
Orleans.
flipped the menu.
Oh yeah. For 4 days, we had a brass band. It was
Killer.
great.
You got a brass band?
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
it
Son
was
of a
badass.
bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do cool shit, dude.
We
They got tons of
some
money.
Cool
They
stuff.
fucking kill it up
yeah,
there.
it's a lot of fun. But Allie sponsored it from Cathead.
Mm-hmm.
Love her. And
Former guest on the show.
Yeah.
Episode
Of course.
4, I think.
Was it?
Episode 3. You know, we've been doing it for a little while when we lose track of the episodes.
Yeah.
But she was on. That was great.
yeah, I love her.
We're big fans of her.
Huge.
But
Pimm's
yeah.
Cup. Okay, so I will say, so you can either do a tall glass of Pimm's and sparkling lemonade. So you could do either like Pimm's, 2 to 3 ounces, in a tall glass over ice with, say, either some lemonade that you're going to make at home or some Simply lemonade and then some Topo Chico. So you've got a really simple, and then it's one of those drinks that's all about the garnish. And you can garnish it with like blueberries, cucumber, strawberry, apple is a really common garnish. And then there's the craft cocktail version, and that's where you can go crazy with it, right? So that's probably where a lot of us,
done it
if
before.
we were at a bar and someone was like, you know what, I'd love a Pimm's Cup, and I'd love a really good Pimm's Cup, and if it's really busy, that can be annoying because you're like, oh, I don't know, where's my cucumber?
Well, I'd
Where's
make
my
it. I'd
apple?
make it for one of y'all.
my apple?
No problem. But yeah, like just know if you're ordering a Pimm's Cup and someone's busy, you're asking for a special thing. Same
Yeah.
for a Ramos.
Yeah.
It's pretty
So-
intimate cocktail to order.
It is. I think my spec depends on what kind of mood I'm in.
Yeah, it's definitely a
Sometimes,
cocktail that's
yeah,
subjective
it
that you can
definitely
is.
you can kick it up. So
Not
you can
about
do,
the guest. It's more about me.
Yeah.
Do I want to do some beer? Do I want to do some ginger? It's just, have I had a bad day? That's
Yeah.
what kind of Pimm's Cup you're getting.
No, that's good. That's
Bro,
good. That's
like,
great. I
my
didn't know we
tags are
would get into
expired.
Pimm's Cup, but I think we
So
should.
no.
Yeah. My tags are expired, so I won't be making that for you today. But I think you can do, say, 1.5 Pimm's, maybe an ounce to a half ounce. So a half ounce to an ounce of gin.
Yes.
That's what I do.
Bolster.
Yeah, you gotta.
You want to
gotta
bolster
back
that
up
flavor.
that. You gotta back up that gin liqueur with another gin.
You don't want them to
Complimentary gin.
drink it too fast and come back and be like, that was great, I'll have another. It was like, it's been 6
Exactly.
minutes. What are you doing here? So that can slow people down a little bit, but it's also that we're talking about next level craft cocktail Pimm's. I like mixing the lemon and the lime juice. So say we do half ounce of
Dueling acidities, yeah.
lemon juice and maybe a 1/4 ounce of lime juice. And then in terms of what you're going to muddle in there, it's one of those cocktails where if you're going all the way, you probably want to be muddling and straining out some cucumber, some strawberry, maybe some blueberries if you have them on hand, a little bit of mint. And if you've got fresh ginger within reach or around, it can be great to muddle some fresh ginger with also a, say, 1/4 ounce of a ginger cordial. And if you have cucumber juice, is when
When in
it's
season.
real complicated.
When in season.
If cucumber juice is possible, or maybe you have a tequila cocktail on the menu where you can grab the cucumber juice. If not, just muddle some cucumber in there. So we've got right now for our we've got some ginger syrup, and I would recommend, say, like a cucumber syrup if you don't have the juice, possibly just simple syrup. What do you think?
All right, let's
I'm
get all these
talking sweet.
ingredients
I think you're
somewhere.
right on.
And like,
We're talking sweet.
we're gonna shake this up.
Oh yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm just talking like what other sweet. So what I will say is what other
We have
sweet.
a line of people now waiting to get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
We're just figuring out the...
Yeah, they're all getting Pimm's and lemonade. They're all getting
Pimm's
Pimm's
cup.
and lemonade.
What are you getting, dude?
Hold on, I'm making the Pimm's.
You make that 14?
See, she knows. She gets backed up. She's
Oh,
like, you
baby.
fucking think like this, you're in trouble. So we'll say a little ginger syrup, half ounce, 1/4 ounce simple syrup, and we're muddling the cucumber, the ginger, the strawberry, the blueberry, maybe a combination of all those things, maybe just a few of those things. If you have some parsley, that can be beautiful in a Pimm's
wow.
cup. And you're going to muddle all that, and then you're going to fine strain that into a tall glass that you're going to top with a little bit of ginger beer and mostly soda. Don't do all ginger beer and don't do all soda. Do a tiny bit of ginger beer, tiny bit of soda. And that's your extremely complicated next level where you're going to be like, I'm not sure if there's a better drink than this Pimm's cup.
It really can be beautiful.
It can
when
be.
you go all the way,
Yeah.
you're like, damn.
Yeah. It's a great
It's worth
example
it.
of a drink where
Yeah.
it's like, it's not an old fashioned or a martini, where those are just bone dry, perfect drinks as they are. This is a drink that's like, it's complicated. It's like, you want a Pimm's Cup? Well, it can be a little complicated.
If you're going
Let's
around
talk.
ordering
Let's
it,
talk.
you're gonna have it different every time. So
Yeah.
that is an exciting thing about that drink is
Yeah.
no matter where you order it, even if it's in the same place, most of the time you're gonna get it a different way.
Mm-hmm. And it should be garnished to the nines. It should have mint. It should have berries. It should have some cucumber,
Yeah.
possibly some green apple, which is just
Like
that's
an
classic.
edible garnish that will accentuate the
A drink and a
cocktail.
snack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's nearly healthy.
It's like health juice.
Yeah. It's
Also, a good way to get out of it is like, yeah, we have appetizers, so like, I'll make you one if you.
Here's the menu. I'm
you
making
get
you a
some onion
Pimm's and
rings.
lemonade.
This is the new Bloody Mary.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. What's your Bloody Mary game like over there at LA Jackson? You're probably going through like.
Here's the thing.
How many
you guys.
gallons are you going through?
I'm very zen
30 a weekend?
about
Yeah.
making all this bullshit for people. I'm very, very. I've done it for so long that I'm so chill about it.
Yeah.
You want a shattered martini? Yes, it's a thing. I'm gonna make it for you, baby.
Yeah,
And
that
you are
like
gonna
bruised.
What's that?
Ice
Shattered?
chips.
Bruised. I want the ice chips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Demi can tell you this story, but someone
Yeah.
came in and asked for a shattered martini, and oh god, the worst person. And she makes it like 3 times, and they're like, "It's not shattered." It's a big ordeal, but we found
Wow.
out.
What did make it shattered? The
You
broken ice.
it's
When you
supposed to have
threw the
ice
glass
cubes
on
in
the
it.
floor,
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
like, "What do you want, lady?"
Oh man, I would love that. If somebody did that to Kenneth, he's gonna break a glass on the bar. Wow. Don't get
Anyway,
any ideas. Don't
yeah.
get fired.
So
It's a daily battle, Mike.
we get like, because we're cocktail bartenders, and we don't really have any Broadway high volume experience. So when someone asks for like a whatever shot, I'm like, yeah, it probably has peach in it. It probably has vodka in it. I just make the same thing every time. They're like,
Yeah.
this is the best one I've ever had. I'm like, awesome. That's so great,
Yeah.
But I'm very zen about making 23 vodka sodas with a splash of cran. But the one thing, you guys, that I can't get down with is the Bloody Mary. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate when people order it. Oh, God.
I'm not a fan of the cocktail
Man.
myself.
I will make
It's an airport
anything.
drink.
I'll do anything for you. I will make you a dirty martini, and I'll spit in it if that's what you want. But this Bloody Mary thing, it's like really rough for me.
Yeah.
I don't like it. But
I
of
think it's
course,
Wow.
we run a great Bloody Mary program. So please come in and try one of our 3.
Yeah. Oh, 3. Oh my God. That sounds like a lot to keep up
Yeah.
with. Yeah.
Brunch just started.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
you know,
brunch just started for LA Jackson or the
last
Marsh
week.
House?
LA Jackson.
Wow, you're doing
Yeah.
brunch up there.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
well, it's revenue, and
crazy.
are you all building Bloody Marys to order, or are you making a large batch of very quality Bloody Mary that you're using that day? Like, because
We're doing it
I
right.
know what you
We're
mean
doing
about
it
the blood.
relatively right. Yeah.
What you're talking about is not the drink. You're talking about the guest that orders the drink.
No,
Are you
gosh,
not?
no. Any of our listeners here, please come see me and I'll make
No,
you
I'm
one.
just kidding.
No. I
We're
mean,
talking
I think
about
we
that
have
Saturday
an
night
unspoken
Ramos guy.
agreement about that, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know that guy very well. But yeah, it's. I think we can all get down with. It's just the one thing that when people order it, I judge them. I don't like the drink.
Yeah.
Everything else, though, I'm good with it.
It's like a drink to revive the dead. That's the one thing I can
But
respect
sometimes
about it.
people order it at 9 at night.
No,
and
that's
then
so
that is
strange.
dark.
No, I know.
Guys. That's a
always
dark time.
And I've been doing this a long time. But when somebody comes in and it's evening and it's like dinner hour or it's this and somebody's like, you guys make a good Bloody Mary. And if it's the sun's down and it's dark outside, I really stop in my tracks every time.
I know
And
what
I'm
you
like,
mean.
Like I want to know.
What?
I want to know more.
That's not what you want.
Are you a vampire?
Yeah. Would you like some garlic? I'll be putting garlic in your Bloody Mary.
Yes. So,
You vampire. Well, that's great.
Anyway.
well, the Bloody
that was
Mary
my
thing
one-
is like one is fine. I I haven't had a Bloody Mary in years and years.
But when they come back,
when
for
people drink a lot of Bloody Marys, it's insane. Because like I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure most Bloody Marys have a decent amount of salinity. Like, I mean, there's tomato juice and like all these other juices in there, but like it's also got a lot of salt.
For sure.
Sometimes you have this unique situation where you're just slowly watching this person bloat. Every time their face gets larger and larger and larger and larger, it's like, dude, I got to cut you off because
why? Because I'm drunk?
No, because I'm calling an ambulance.
Because I don't know CPR. Oh man.
Oh my gosh. So I think last year, like I said, was the year of the frosé. And I think this year, you brought up something that kind of segues into this, is the year of the espresso martini.
I have noticed this.
Yeah.
Shit.
This year?
It's back.
This year.
Oh, it came back?
It's coming back.
I'm talking about not for... I'm talking about the general...
Sure.
I think people are rediscovering that drink with a burning passion.
Yeah.
Because
there is an uptick on that.
25.
What about Irish coffee?
25.
Are you seeing an uptick 25. On just like caffeinated beverages at all?
I think the espresso martini is the one this year. Mark my words.
Yeah.
Y'all are.
No, I've noticed. It's kind of coming back, and it's kind of back.
It's back.
Are you guys having to use espresso in that? Because
yeah, we're doing it, but we just got cold brew on draft to alleviate some of that.
Oh, strong.
Because our espresso machine has broken 3 times now.
Yeah. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They break.
They come with no warranty.
Yeah.
But yeah, we bust them out like you've never seen before. I don't think I've ever gotten a ticket for one espresso martini. It's either none or 80 of them.
And if you do get the one...
Line up the coops. We're doing it. Yeah. And once you do the
I'd rather make 80.
Everyone wants
one. Yeah.
So we put it on the menu for brunch because we embrace it.
Well, you figured it out.
It'll also speed up the process. So like anyone that's desiring it, if it's an uptick in popular culture, they see it, they get it, and like it saves time for everyone.
Yeah. I like the garnish. The classic garnish is three coffee beans. And I like that because
what
it gives you a good bit of aroma on that glass, so you kind of get I'm not going to hate on it, but I don't know if I'd ever order one.
These are all drinks that I'm happy to go get right now.
That drink is badass. I like mine with a little cream, a little liqueur 43, so a little creme de cacao, and you don't have to use any other actual sugared sweetener.
Yeah.
Fresh espresso,
nuttiness,
vodka or rum.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
I think rum is better. But yeah, it's a badass drink.
Yeah.
I don't hate you for getting it at all.
Yeah. And it's kind of that like combination of you get the energy from the espresso.
Okay, so
and
you said,
this is going to get you in trouble up there.
The Pimm's cup. One night, this couple was in, and I don't know if they actually understood what an espresso martini was because they each had 6 of them at 11.
Maybe they thought they were getting them really fast.
I don't know. But at a certain point, I was like, "Yo, guys, this
has
like,
booze in it.
This is
right?
Starting to become like a prescription. We're getting to that point. You're having 6 shots of double espresso in each of these. Yeah, and cream, man."
No problem.
I want to know what
were they from like Venezuela?
Was like, no, they weren't.
So the last name Chavez.
Why?
Because Hugo Chavez drank 50 cups of coffee a day.
Oh yeah. Oh man, it's insane.
I hope that they're okay.
You got to have some interesting moments up there on the roof. Because I worked at a super busy, crazy rooftop bar in college. That was my first bartending gig, and it was nuts during the summer, and there was always like that danger factor of like somebody's gonna fall off the roof.
Yeah.
Nobody ever did, and I don't want to get into that with you, but
no, I'm terrified.
There is that thing on like a busy rooftop bar where it's like, God, the view's great, the drinks are great, I'm having the time of my life, and things get out of hand.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's the real thing. LA Jackson, it is what it is. I think at the end of the day, if you're going to work there and really stand behind the program, there's a certain amount of acceptance that you need to have.
Yeah.
And I'm really lucky. We've attracted I think one of the best bar teams in Nashville for the size of it. I mean, we have some really, really badass people working for us.
Yeah.
So, yes, hilarious stories for days. But at the end of the day, we run a really great program with what we can, and we have a badass team. But I think it's sort of a lesson in humility and self-control constantly. And
as bartending can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think you come out of it with a fresh perspective.
Yeah. We might need you to tell one of those crazy stories before you go.
Sure,
so maybe just like work it around in your head, be thinking like, what's the one
No, absolutely.
one you
might
could
write
tell.
A book.
I don't frequent rooftop bars because I'm scared.
There weren't that
I'm scared
many.
of heights.
Oh, that's good to know.
I get that.
I always like stay in the center of the building. The higher I get.
I'm gonna cancel that helicopter I
that's
ordered for your
cute.
birthday.
No, if it's someone else, if it's someone else's responsibility, like if I'm in a helicopter or a plane, I'm fine because I know that if I die, it's someone else's fault. But if I'm like climbing a tree or like looking over a bluff, I'm terrified of that because I know if I die from that, I know it's my fault.
Wow.
Nobody to blame.
Yeah.
How responsible.
Speaking of
Mountains.
height,
Oh, man, nice. I know
I think
what
one
you're getting into.
thing
and
that
was
we can
good.
talk
That's
about is how well Sally makes a Ramos Gin Fizz, which she's not going to make a ton of them. If you're coming up there to LA Jackson, it's 86 until further notice.
We actually will.
Okay, okay. I didn't want to.
I think it's like an egocentric thing for me. Like,
Yeah, I didn't want to get
when
you in
people
trouble.
ask, they're like, "I'm so sorry, can I get a Ramos?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Watch me work, bitch."
So the Ramos Gin Fizz, amazing story here. This is a cocktail that
I
it's been a
know
while
of the
since we
first
even talked
assembly
about it.
line cocktail in the history of
They
cocktails.
had
Yeah.
to hire people.
there
I
was
believe.
one story where was it? Mardi Gras 1915. 35 bartenders were brought on to be able to make as many Ramos as they needed in those particular nights. 35 bartenders all standing arm to arm and shaking. Originally called the New Orleans Fizz, it's a cocktail that became so popular after its creation in 1888 that it took on the name of its creator, Henry C. Ramos of New Orleans Imperial Cabinet Bar. He eventually opened up another bar called the Stag, where the reputation of the cocktail really grew and kind of solidified its place in cocktail history. There's a famous quote of Stanley Arthur's in New Orleans Drinks and How to Mix 'Em, where the bar staff who were making Ramos Gin Fizzes nearly shook their arms off and were still unable to keep up with the demand. Why? Because as bartenders we know this, as drinkers we know this, as cocktail aficionados we know this, it's one of the most delicious things you can put to your lips, and it tastes like if you were in heaven and they gave you a cloud to drink.
There's,
So
yeah,
true.
yeah. I think
it's
most
hard to
bartenders, cocktail bartenders, that's the kind of heaven that they will end up in,
Yeah.
There is nothing
where someone makes a Ramos for
more
them
sexy than watching
and
a
massages
bartender.
their arms.
Yes, watch. It's the sexiest possible thing.
Yeah. Well, tell us
there.
about your Ramos Gin Fizz and why it's so damn good.
So actually, the Ramos Gin Fizz, and this defers back to you. I saw one. I was having dinner with my parents at Husk, and
Oh, we didn't make many there.
you made
Yeah.
one this one night, and one got delivered to a table next to me. And
Oh, wow.
I was like, "What is that?"
Oh, cool.
So that originally kind of sparked my interest in bartending.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was cool. I recently went to New Orleans and I saw that instead of shaking them, a lot of these places have this machine that you just pop it into and it shakes it
It's like
for
a-
6 minutes.
And it's like a paint mixer.
Yeah,
Is it one of those?
doesn't even do it that fast. It's
Yeah.
like and it looks like it's, like a torture device.
Kenneth Dedmon on
and then
sound
he,
effects.
he builds the whole thing and pops it in. And you're like, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that I think I've become obsessed with. But yeah,
Did you guys get one of those things?
we didn't.
You're going to, I bet.
We're just getting buff
Yeah.
at LA Jackson.
Yeah.
Actually, it's yeah.
Bicep game strong.
Bicep game is strong. But we have myself and our other my counterpart. We have challenges to see who can get theirs the highest. It's dumb, but it's
Yeah.
totally legit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we put it on the menu for Mardi Gras, and we had to have a short lesson in the techniques. I found I like an blasphemous amount of simple in mine. I really think if you take the simple up a notch, it's like dessert.
Yeah.
But that's my one thing. I like to use Heyman's, which is also a little
nice
sweet.
soft
an old,
gin.
Yeah, a nice old Tom gin.
I would grab a Heyman's anytime I see a Heyman's. If I'm walking
good.
around the store, I just grab it and
You can't help
tack it on later. Like I don't even think about it.
Oh, it's
but,
so
yeah.
good. It's like the best.
Yeah, it's almost like
I don't have any
drinking
gin.
Yeah.
There's a Heyman's.
God,
We're good.
it's so good. Yeah, so I do lemon and lime. I like both citruses in there. Some gin, cream, a lot of simple. If I'm making it for myself, I like passion fruit. I think it's with the cream. It's like that creamsicle.
Yeah.
Acid fighting with the sweet sort of thing. It's awesome.
Yeah.
If I'm making it for someone else, I will usually do some slow gin. I think that provides
Yeah, that's
sort
cool.
of yeah.
That's super
awesome.
cool.
Oh,
Love it.
cool.
But yeah, and then I like so much orange flower water. 13 drops.
Whoa, cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dang.
Flower bomb.
Yeah. Tastes a little
It's gonna be
like
coming out of their tears later.
It's a little like laundry detergent. I've had someone tell me, so I've taken it down since then. But if I'm making it for myself,
Yeah.
it's 13 drops, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I think dry shaking it just until you hate it, and then a little crushed ice until it's all the way gone. A little Topo Chico in the bottom of a Collins glass. Fill it to the brim. Sort of hit it on the bar mat or table to get the air bubbles out. Stick it in the. If you have time, at that point it will rise. But if you really want it to rise, stick it in the cooler for just a minute, and then
Let the bubbles dissipate a little bit.
yeah, and then check out your head, and I think it'll show you sort of in the Collins glass. I'm doing it with my hands, but I don't really know how to verbalize it to you.
Yeah.
A head will start to develop, and that's where you can sort of decide how high you're going to go before it falls.
So you start to see the head as you're starting to pour it, and then this is how much I have.
And that's it.
Well, go see Sally maybe if she's not too busy
Oh, I'll do it for you.
for a Ramos. Yeah. Especially the passion fruit iteration.
Get there at opening. Get a Ramos and don't let anyone
But not
see you
too
drink
early.
it.
Don't be walking in like 2 minutes before they open. That's just like, don't come early to the party. You know what I mean?
I didn't say that early, dude.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm talking to the proverbial you.
Pace outside for 35 minutes after they open, and then go
you
in
walk-
with a fake mustache and
Then you burned the appropriate amount of calories. Yeah, perfect.
a trench coat
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
just a hoodie. Ask for a Ramos.
Love
it's
it.
a beautiful thing. It's one of those drinks that bartenders, guests, drinkers, drink aficionados alike, everybody can kind of be like, ooh, yeah, that's special. That's what we'll all be drinking up in heaven. I'll take some off that cloud right there.
Yeah, I'll be playing the harp.
Yeah.
I see that for you. Having known you for the short time.
Blues
that I
harp
have.
or like a little old Irish
Yeah, what
harp.
key you want me to play? Like, I'll do it.
I don't know if you can play the blues.
Play the
up
harp
there.
flute.
Well, I think the time has come now for me to turn things over to my co-host, Mr. Kenneth Dedmon, for Booze News.
Booze news.
The time has come for some booze news.
Welcome
What do you
to
got for us this week? Is it a busy week out there with the booze?
We're pretty
And the beer
much
and the
all
wine.
over the place, y'all. In popular culture, Pabst Blue Ribbon this week has announced they are branding a whiskey and releasing it pretty freaking soon. Did you hear about
Wow.
this?
Nope. I'm
Pabst-
glad I'm here.
Pabst Blue Ribbon whiskey. Yeah. They released the mash bill, but not a date.
I wonder if it tastes like piss.
I wonder if it's $10.
Can I
For a
get
liter.
done with the news before I start talking shit? Because I already had that prepared, y'all.
Okay,
Like,
sorry.
let's do this.
They're doing
And
a
then
whiskey? Wait, what? Yeah, well,
Pabst Blue Ribbon whiskey, yeah. Michigan-based New Holland Distillery is going to be producing it for them. The mash bill, as if anyone would care, it's 52% corn, 27% barley, 17% wheat, 4% rye. Jesus Christ!
pretty sure you went
that's a
way
lot.
over 100 there.
Like, I don't know. Oh, man.
They're like, why don't we just throw this in?
I'm sorry.
52, 27, 17, 4. Go for it.
I'm sorry.
Beautiful mind over here. So,
That's amazing.
excellent mash bill. New Holland Distillery.
No, yeah. So what you're saying is they're going 110% on this.
Nice.
They're going big time on it.
104%.
Yeah.
The media campaign says it's aged for five seconds, which
I knew it.
probably
I was ready
like
for that.
Wow.
probably open speculation that it's just going to be a white dog like whiskey for college bars to get their liquor companies to print up a new promotion for a shot and a beer.
Yeah, shot in a beer. I'll take the Pabst highball.
It's pretty late to be getting into like the white whiskey game for anyone, really.
Does seem a little late.
I guess a lot of folks that I know that drink Pabst Blue Ribbon are usually late. Like at least 15 minutes late.
Late to the bar, late to the party, late to the show.
Pretty crazy.
It's like that's the target market for Pabst. That's amazing.
Not to knock on it because I've shotgunned 1,000 Pabst.
Yeah.
We do a feature on how to shotgun a Pabst Blue Ribbon eventually.
Sure. I'm
Like
down.
proper way. Like, and that's when we launch our video series too.
Great.
But yeah, in other booze news, Family Dollar is going to shut down 400 stores across the United States in the coming months, rebranding 2 of them on the West Coast to sell higher end products while keeping the low price point, the low like Dollar Tree price point, but they're going to introduce beer and wine to their stores.
And Pabst whiskey.
Wow.
Yes, I guess hopefully in states that they, the price point would work out probably for Family Dollar. Dollar General is the spot.
Yeah.
There's not shit laying around in the aisle like tripping over it, like relatively smooth with service. Their carts are better. They're like everything is better. Anyone
That's
have
crazy.
anything to speak on Family Dollar? Like, any defenders?
No. It's a notch in the belt of booze news. That's all it is. It's just a notch.
God damn it.
What else you got?
So in the UK, Cooks and Adventures, which is an exotic, very high price point tourist company, is offering one client, which none has been spoken on, but they are on the expedition right now to recover a couple hundred bottles from a sunken merchant vessel.
Oh, cool. I love stories like this.
In the Cornwall coast, which is kind of like if you're looking at the very south of the UK or England, it's kind of like that like area that's like that Nubby Claw area in the very center.
Okay.
Said boat, which is a merchant ship that set sail from Bordeaux in 1918, was hit by a U-boat torpedo and sunk. It's about 100 meters underground.
Whoa.
Wow.
So a team of archaeologists and the UK Navy said like probably Elon Musk or something.
Yeah. Kermit Lynch.
Yeah.
It's down there like scuba diving.
Said to recover hundreds of bottles of not just like benchmark old wine, but champagnes and brandies from the era. Like
Dope.
pretty big for like booze science, because these are old vintages that might be preserved, or at least some of them they imagine are preserved, so they can have environmental benchmarks that are already like inside that bottle and preserved. So, and also in the growing fake wine industry, they can use those exact chemical compounds as a benchmark to basically determine if old vintages at the time for the year, which like these were wines that were on the boat in 1918. It doesn't necessarily mean they were from 1918.
Right.
So,
Could have been a high-end shipment from way back.
yeah, pretty fucking cool, man.
Yeah. Very
We'll
cool.
see. Like that's gonna play out in the next couple of days. So
Awesome.
I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, we look forward to you following up on that on a future episode. On a future feature of Booze News.
Shit, man.
What else you got?
I got some great news.
Oh, yes. I love good news to booze to.
Yeah, but
Talk to me.
Doesn't really. It's more of a beverage news.
Good.
We're gonna end on a healthy note here. University of Southern California has been doing Alzheimer's research and has found that compounds in both green tea and carrots have shown possible signs of recovery in Alzheimer's-based mice. So might not translate to a human being. Sometimes it does not yet.
But a lot of times it does.
The results have been like the dosage has not been out of control, and the results have been incredible.
Wow.
Incredible. And there's a lot of words that I can't pronounce because it's science shit, but it is very encouraging news because Grandma Dedmon suffered with dementia, and unfortunately they didn't find like Pepsi and mashed potatoes helped with said dementia because
that would be nice.
It was what she was best at.
Yeah.
Sometimes mixing the two.
Oh wow. Yeah, secret recipe.
In the end, the ticker took her, but she did suffer from dementia, and it runs in families. And I promise both of you, thanks for coming out, Sally, that I will up my green tea and carrot intake.
Yeah.
Can I get the same promise from the both of you?
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
I love my carrots. Yeah. Eat a fair amount of carrots. So yeah, I'm with you there. And if you have to make a cocktail with carrots, I would say margarita. Nothing like a carrot margarita, which we'll get into on a future episode.
Do great shit with carrots. Dude, green tea. Think about it. Green tea, carrot cordial with Japanese whiskey, old fashioned.
Like a highball.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Both
Because then you can. Oh, we just created a cocktail on Liquid Gold.
Guys,
Kaboom.
are we opening a bar?
Yeah,
Yes.
we are. Is it called Liquid Gold? So that'd be a great thing that you could do with the Japanese highball. You could shave carrot and just infuse it like a long cucumber sort of shaving. So a long shaving of carrot. Then you could use the tops to infuse. The tops have that really pretty parsley sort of herbaceous flavor. And then you could have like a little green tea, like you said, like maybe a little green tea carrot syrup.
Yeah,
You just add like
the cool thing about
like a quarter ounce.
the cool
and
thing
then you top
about
it with soda.
alcohol is it's such a soluble, like, put a little splash of water in there, and like you don't really need as much time as you probably just need like agitation.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great, Mike. Yeah, hell yeah.
Hey.
What are we gonna call
Good
this
job,
cocktail?
guys.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's do this cocktail 3 different ways next
The
time we
green
hang
tea
out.
carrot Japanese highball.
I've heard you mention margaritas about 6 times in the past hours. Is that a passion?
It's his
for you?
favorite cocktail.
He loves it, man.
I do love a
carrot margarita, cucumber margarita. I mean, you're all over the place with the margarita.
Sorry, I'm going to get margaritas later.
Okay.
Shout out El Fuego.
Shout out Fuego, I'm coming at you. As always,
I love
on my
their
Mondays.
carrot margarita at El Fuego. It's dope.
Yeah, they can have it. They can have it. It's fine. I'm not going to make it. I'll let them make it. That'd be easier. That'd be great. Well, thank you for another enlightening edition of Booze News today, Kenneth Dedmon.
I'm trying to get better every time, y'all.
That's great.
Kenneth, I think you're doing a beautiful job.
So, yeah.
Have you guys had the Old Forester rye yet?
Yeah, we were talking about it. I haven't tried it yet. Man Without a Country.
It's
over
pretty
here.
sweet.
I think it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Or 104 out of 104.
Well, for the price point, are you kidding me?
Oh
Like-
my God. I love it. I thought it was awesome.
Killer.
Great job.
It's always good to have a new rye into the equation because that's one of those things like we talked about Japanese whiskey.
It's a weird time of year for ryes. This is the time of year you start kind of like, there are multiple times a year now. I'm getting used to like ryes just like disappearing for a while before they're bottled
you know
again
what?
or available again. It doesn't matter when they're bottled, but just being available again.
You know, one thing I feel like that can be really cool with rye in springtime is you start mixing in some dill because dill is a really cool tasting note of like young rye whiskey.
Yeah. I
Make
think
a cocktail.
Don't you think that's mostly from like younger barrels though? Like I always get a rye thing from a young.
Well, there's definitely the grain. So you get
whiskey.
the you're going to get more of that like caraway thing when it's younger.
Yeah, caraway.
You're going to get that when it's younger.
dill.
Yeah.
What's another like very like fennel-y, but not
Sure.
intrusive fennel, like well-watered fennel.
Well-watered, moist fennel. I don't think you're going to see that on the menu, but if you do, you know you're at a
if you do,
crazy
you know
ass
it's
bar.
in a margarita.
Yeah, it's margarita time. Calling me out. Who's thirsty? Now, we thought we might get some stories, but we might not. But I can tell you one cool story from working the bar up at Case China in Boulder, the rooftop bar. One time, and I'm not going to get in trouble for this because they're gone, and I don't know who this person was. He was visiting the U.S., but one time there was a guy who jumped on top of the rooftop bar itself. On top of it was like a hut, and he was standing over all the guests, starts peeing on guests.
Nice.
And people are like, I remember being behind the bar and people being like, am I being pissed on? And I was like, wait, what did you just say? And it was busy, it was
like,
crazy.
Sir, I think
and
we have
like,
reasonable prices.
Yeah. Good one. And so we had to go, we had this power hose that we could attach to a faucet in the back. So we grabbed the power hose, and some of the bouncer dudes start coming around, and they start spraying this guy who's up on top of the bar peeing on people. They spray him with the force of the hose to get him down. Then he jumps over it was kind of like a strip mall. It was like a rooftop bar that was part of a strip mall. And he starts running across the strip mall, and people are chasing him across this strip mall. And I'm thinking, like, where is this going? Is someone going to jump?
Is he still
and
peeing?
Then, because it's Boulder, the cops don't have a ton to do. The cops are there pretty quickly on the scene. There's like 5 of them. And they're coaxing this Irish gentleman. He was Irish. I'm not making this up. So this is almost a St. Patty's Day story.
Racist.
And they... I'm Irish too. That means I can disparage other
It's not racist if you like the race, I guess.
Yeah, right. So they eventually coaxed this guy down without having him jump. He only jumped from the roof down to a stairwell about 10 feet. And he was taken away in a cop car. But there are crazy stories at a rooftop bar, I will say. You don't need to tell any because...
No, I mean, I'm not gonna one up you on that one, Mike. That's quite something.
Off mic, I look forward to you doing just that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. Here's a positive one. This isn't bringing it into a positive light and, taking away the stigma attached to rooftop bars.
Yeah, there doesn't need to be a stigma. It's always...
there definitely does. There definitely does. So this one guy, it's like a busy. Maybe 4 o'clock at LA Jackson, you can't move. So many people are there. And this guy tells the DJ to turn off the music and says, free drinks for the next 15 minutes. Which, I mean...
That's almost against the law.
Our vodka sodas are, like, so incredible. Like, you can imagine how... So, okay. So, people are like toppling over each other. It's like freaking... They're trying to get to the bar.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's almost
animals.
Like inciting a riot at that point.
My
that's
goodness.
Crazy.
It was like animals. Yeah. So this one guy comes up. He's like, what's the best pappy you have? I'm like,
smart guy. Yes.
There's a guy
wise.
who knows what's up.
Yeah.
Anyway, these girls are coming up. They're like, I want 18 Moscow mules. I'm like, okay.
Like, how many people you think we got back here?
So 15 minutes, I think he racked up. I think it was $15,000.
Wow. That's amazing.
How many of y'all are working there? Like, I'm already thinking, like,
that day it was 5 people.
5 of you?
Mm-hmm.
So $1,000 a minute, 5 of you, $200 a minute.
That's amazing. Yeah. So was he a member of the Eagles?
No, but I have met them and they're very wonderful.
I bet.
But it was servers too, so not just the bar. And,
yeah, it was everybody.
People came behind. People started to help.
Was it Jay-Z?
A member of the Eagles?
Do you know who it is?
The Eagles?
I do know who it is.
I went right from the Eagles to
why
Jay-Z.
the Eagles? Why the Eagles?
I don't know. I was thinking, like, when I've been in the Gulch a lot of times, it's been to see the Time Jumpers who used to play at the Station Inn. So I kind of thought, Vince Gill, Eagles, that's kind of where I was. I don't know. Plus, I think of them as like a rooftop band.
They did come on.
I already have an Eagles.
They were there.
They were awesome.
I knew it, man.
Were awesome.
I already have an Eagles song in my head.
They gave me tickets. They were really cool. They were awesome. The best.
I knew that.
Take it to the limit, bro.
I told you. That brings up an interesting point. You do some singing. You've done some recording recently. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah.
What kind of music do you do?
It's like jazz pop. If you know Lana Del Rey, but you know, not as sad.
Her newer stuff really like kind of threw me for a loop, where she was the really intimate kind of those first new songs she released like a couple months ago. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That was really cool. It was really
I
interesting.
think Lana is very good at visuals, and her music is really interesting, and I mean, I love her. Mm-hmm. But I think she's sort of a whole package. It's very, she gets into all of it. I think she's a great artist.
Yeah.
As a whole. But yeah, I moved to Nashville to do music and sort of have gotten caught up in this.
Yeah, right.
As we all do, I think. And I'm really passionate about it. I like it a lot. But this next year, I'm looking to sort of find a balance between the both of them.
Is there anywhere to hear any of these recordings quite yet?
In about a month.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Well, we'll be posting that on Liquid Gold and throwing shout outs.
Guys. Thanks.
So we'll look forward to that.
The
jazz.
We'll do the music
stylings.
video.
Right in here.
Yeah, right?
The three of us.
Yeah. A picture, it's like
people do
fake,
that.
it's like a fake argument, and then she's like separating us and like making it all right.
Guys,
get out of here.
Separate.
Yeah.
You go take a walk. You need to think about it.
And then she ends up kicking,
the papers,
and then
the
she ends
bills.
up, and then she ends up kicking both of our asses.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
In the rain.
That's probably about to happen.
Always in the rain.
Yeah.
Always.
Right? In that Nashville rain that don't stop. Well, this was amazing. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you for having me. It's
Yeah.
been great.
Go see Sally over at LA Jackson.
Yeah, Sally, you're
where
cool
you
as
can
fuck.
get amazing cocktails, a vodka soda if you want.
Or don't come see me. Either way, it's okay if you don't come also.
Well, this was great. And they just started brunch over there at LA Jackson. So definitely go see Sally for brunch. Maybe a Ramos Gin Fizz if you're going to be patient about it. If not, just get a Pimm's and lemonade and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
There's 2 ways and also 14,000 ways to make the Pimm's Cup. Again, you can find us on Instagram at liquidgold_pod. My name's Mike Wolf. For my co-host, Kenneth Dedmon. Kenneth, thank you for being here today and doing
Thanks,
all that
Mike.
you do.
Whatever. I love you, dude.
Bringing the Japanese whiskey.
We're freaking south of the border there.
Yeah.
Most of that's me, though.
Yeah.
Essential.
Love you too.
Love you, Sally.
Love you,
Love you,
Sally.
guys.
Thanks
Love
for being
you.
here.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
What kind of wood was that? No.